Okay,
Yeah.
welcome everyone.
Yeah.
Steve and I are incredibly happy to see all of these faces of our friends
I'm
and
nervous.
community members. And we are also slightly nervous because we've never done this before.
All these people looking at us, it's kind of weird.
Well, but we're looking at all of them too.
That's true, yeah.
So bear with us. I mean, again, as my friend Lee Friedman says, everything's an opportunity to practice an OTP. So this is a time to practice patience and acceptance and letting go of any idea you may have what this may be. So our intention is to practice together and also to have an opportunity for community to share together and to just find out what people's experience is at this time. So
Nice to see the chats coming in here. You're doing amazing. Good morning. I've never done this before. Oh, they can see you too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
if you open up the chat window, everybody can see this as well. So it's 10 o'clock. So if anybody has any particular questions, if you could hold on to them until after. As you know, Steve and I usually start off every session with a practice, and we're gonna start off with what we call an arriving practice right now. So we're gonna start off with how to take your position to be in this present moment. So we're going to invite everybody to find a position that allows you to be alert and yet comfortable. There are many positions for meditation, as you know from people who've taken courses with Steve and I. You can meditate lying down, you can meditate sitting up, you can meditate standing, you can meditate moving. The idea is to sit in a way that allows your breath to move easily. So if you can just take a position. If you're sitting on a chair, it's helpful to have your feet flat on the floor. If you are short like me, you might have to switch to the front of your chair so that your feet can actually reach the floor. And take a moment to just notice the feeling of your feet making contact with the floor. This is very grounding. It often feels like all of our thoughts are happening up in our head, and this allows us to have a more embodied experience. And then just sitting in a way so that your shoulders are in line with your hips, and then you can just take a moment and just bring your shoulders up to your ears and roll them back so that your shoulder blades are kind of leaning in towards each other, and this helps create an expansion in the shoulders. If you tuck your chin in slightly, it helps elongate the back of the neck. And then finally, just feel like you're being pulled up by the crown of your head. So you're sitting in a posture that, as John Kabat-Zinn says, embodies the dignity of who you are. We take time in setting the posture because it sets an intention. It lets our bodies know that we are setting an intention to pay attention in a bit of a different way. So then just settling in and perhaps noticing how you're feeling in this moment, your body making contact with the surface that it's on. If you wish to close your eyes, you're invited to close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can look down at your hands or look at something that's not moving. It's not necessary to close your eyes. You may notice that Steve and I close our eyes, and that's because it helps us really check in with what's going on inside. So we're going to begin by taking 3 long, slow breaths. So taking a nice long inhale, as if you were filling a jug with water, allowing your entire chest, belly, abdomen to expand on the in-breath. And then slowly exhaling as if you're emptying that jug of water. Taking 2 more breaths in your own time. And on the last exhalation, allowing your breath to assume its own natural rhythm without manipulating it or changing it in any way. The reason that we do this is that it actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like the calm down, rest, and digest system of the body. So we're going to start off with our pause practice that comes from our SMART education program. We're just going to do a little bit of a check-in. So taking a moment to just check in with body sensations. Perhaps starting with the obvious ones, the places where your body is making contact with the surface that it's on. Could be the feeling of your body making contact with the chair or cushion. Maybe the feeling of the clothes making contact with your body. If you have your hands on your thighs, maybe the feeling of your hands making contact with the thighs. So the feeling in your thighs of the pressure of the hands on them, the feeling in your hands of your thighs. And then maybe going more inwards and just noticing what's going on in your body. Are there any areas that are particularly tight or loose? What are you noticing? What's your body trying to tell you at this moment? Not attempting to change anything in any way, but just seeing if we can make space for what's already there. And then checking in with thoughts. Just noticing what's going on in the mind right now. Not getting caught up in the individual thoughts, but maybe looking at, is the mind really busy? Is it going to thoughts of the past? Is it planning what it's going to do later? Maybe you're feeling, maybe the mind is calm and peaceful. Maybe you're still sleepy. Maybe you're hypervigilant. And again, not changing it in any way, but just acknowledging whatever's present in this moment. And then we're going to move to emotions or feeling tones. So just feeling states. So just notice, how are you feeling right now? Are there any emotions present? Maybe there's a lot of emotion present at this time. Can you name it? If you can, it's okay. If you don't find an emotion, that's also okay. If you do notice an emotion, is there a place in your body? It goes back to full circle, back to the body. Is there a place in your body that you're noticing this? I'm noticing that I'm a little nervous about this session. So I just, when I said that, I noticed it in my heart. And again, we're not trying to change anything, just seeing if we can hold everything that we are experiencing in this present moment in a space of awareness. And then noticing sound. Obvious one is you're following the sound of my voice. Maybe there's sounds that you're noticing that are outside your room or outside your home. Maybe there's sounds that are happening inside the room. And not labeling the sounds, but just noticing sound coming to your ear. Is it high-pitched or low-pitched? Is it constant? Is it irregular, broken up? Maybe you're noticing sounds in your own body. Obvious ones are swallowing, breathing. And I'm going to sound our favorite instrument, which is a vibratone. I'm going to invite you to just listen to the sound of the vibratone until you can't hear it anymore. And then if your eyes are closed, opening your eyes. And welcome everyone. So, so we're going to be moving into a period of some mindful movement right away. And, you know, we're low tech here. So we're actually going to be carrying our computer over to another place in our room so that you could watch Steve as he leads us in our circle of joy. I don't know about you, but you know, there hasn't been as much movement as I'm used to. So we're going to do a period of mindful movement, and then we're going to have an opportunity to check in.
Yeah. Can you all see me? Yeah, you can just wave. Good. Okay, I hope I'm in the right position. It looks, where I can see, it looks pretty good. So to do these movements, you can do them standing up. That's the usual way, but it can be done in a chair. If you have it, you can be done right on your chair if you're not that mobile or whatever, or you don't feel like doing it. Yeah, so Heidi's going to be around. Here she is with the chair, and she's going to demonstrate that as we go through this. Okay, why don't we just get started? So the first thing is, just like we had a sitting position for the arrival practice, there's a certain position we take, and the first thing is to make sure that our feet are flat on the floor to take us as best as possible out of our thoughts and so on. So feet are flat on the floor, hip width apart, which is like a fist or two fists between your feet. So that's the first position. And then what we do is we soften the knees, slightly bend them. Shoulders are back and your hands are nice and relaxed, the best wherever they fall in their place. The chin again is tucked in slightly to elongate the back of the neck. And you imagine that you're being pulled up to the sky. You're nice and straight and you're being pulled up to the sky, so you're in a nice position. And so that's our position. So just noticing how you feel. You can slightly close your eyes if you wish. And just notice, checking in with the body again, to see how it's feeling at the beginning of this practice. And you'll notice that the body is never still. There's slight micro movements always happening. The body's always trying to balance and find its position. So just checking in and noticing how you are in this particular moment. And then if your eyes aren't already open, just gently opening your eyes, and we'll begin in a moment. And a reminder that smiling is optional. You can actually enjoy this. And I'm very grateful that we're doing this together, that we're all in this together, and it's just a reminder of that. So enjoy as we go through this movements. I'll be using the inhale and exhale for certain movements. And if it doesn't matter whether you're on cue or not, just feeling comfortable with what we're doing. So I start by clasping my hands in front of me. And then I'm going to take a deep breath in. And then I'm going to exhale and stretch out. Sounds are, although I can't hear you, sounds are good. So just making sounds, letting your body really get into it. Then I'm going to inhale up to the ceiling, stretching up. And then I'm going to exhale slightly back, and stretching up, exhaling. And then I'm going to inhale up, again, changing my hand position to a steeple. Breathing in, taking a breath or two here. And then on the next exhale, I'm going to bend to whatever side you like. So bending, stretching up, smiling, enjoying, maybe. Feels good in the shoulders. And then inhaling up. And then exhaling to the other side. Oh, up. And then inhaling up. And then I'm going to slowly drop my hands, and hopefully you have room, to the side. I'm going to push out, exhaling. I'm going to take an inhale. And then I'm going to exhale and twist to one side, twisting. And then inhaling back to center. And then exhaling to the other side. Oh, do I need this? And then inhaling back to center. It has been an adjustment with all these changes. And then slowly dropping your hands on just dropping your hands. And I'm just turning around here for a minute. This is my other side. And my hands are clasped in this position behind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly bend the knees. Actually, when I have these clasped hands, just you're having your shoulders back in this position, and you're trying to reach your hands to the ceiling to give yourself a good stretch. So just good what? To the floor, yeah, to the floor. So just breathing here for a moment. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to raise my hands. And if that's comfortable for you, some people can just leave them here if you get dizzy. So bending my knees as much as you want, I'm going to bring my hands up to the ceiling. Stretching, stretching, stretching. And then just letting go of everything, bending as much as you need. Breathing from here, loosening, making sounds maybe. See, you're in your own privacy, so you can make as much sound as you want if you want. And then on the next inhale, I'm going to slowly come up, vertebra by vertebra, keeping my neck and head down to the very last, slowly feeling that as I come up. And then coming back into the mountain pose. That was our starting position. That's what they call it. And just noticing how your body feels now after these movements. You notice any shifts? I'm feeling tingling in my hands, coldness in my fingertips, warmth in my chest, feeling the shoulders adjusting, sensations in my face tingling, sunlight coming in from the window, and so on. Whatever you're sensing in this particular moment, getting in touch with the body. So I'm going to do it one more time, just a little more rapidly. So let's begin. So we clasp our hands in front of us. Take a big breath in. Exhale out. Inhale up. Exhale, slightly back and up. And then inhaling up. And now exhaling to the other side. Inhaling up. And exhaling to the other side. Inhaling up. And then slowly dropping the hands, exhaling, pushing out. inhaling and twisting to the other side. Inhaling the center. And now the other side. Oh, yeah. And inhaling the center. And then slowly dropping the hands, exhaling, clasping the hands behind you. And now shoulders are back and you're pushing down to the floor. And then on the next inhale, bringing the hands up, reaching for the ceiling, bending as much as you need. And then slowly dropping your hands. And loosening, wiggling, letting go. And then on the next inhale, slowly coming up, keeping the head and neck down until the very end. And coming back into mountain for a moment or two and just checking in and enjoying this posture as much as you can. Perhaps thanking yourself for the bit of physical exercise that we all need in these times. And just gently opening your eyes if they're not already open. And thank you for doing this.
Low tech is moving. So that piece is called the circle of joy, and it's what's known as a balancing practice, so that if you're feeling really wired, it can help chill you out, which in these times can really help. And if you're feeling really tired, it can help give you some energy. One of the things I've been noticing is a sense of inertia kicks in as I'm at home. So we'd like to open this up so that people can share and check in and what their experience is. And maybe one of the questions that I'll ask is, did you notice if there was a shift in just doing those two practices? So they were very short. We there's about 20 minutes of practice, and I'm just wondering whether that was a shift for you. So if you wish to speak, unmute your microphone, and that will allow you to be able to say something. We'll see how this goes.
So that was definitely a shift for me, because I went to sleep last night very nervous for the first time, actually, and I woke up wired. And after the movement now, my whole body feels different. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel great. I felt some resistance in terms of practicing this morning. I wanted to sleep in, but I'm glad that I did this.
Hey, Johnny.
Thanks, John. Nice to see your
Yeah,
face.
nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Anyone else have any comment?
It was definitely a shift for me.
Fran.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Been feeling really anxious the last few days, and just what I needed. Thank you so much.
Thanks to both of you. It's Mandy and Bob.
Hi.
Hi. He woke up. I still feel I have a knot in my stomach, but that definitely starting to unwind here. So thank you so much.
I'll say hi from the West Coast.
Oh, nice to see you. That's
Nice.
from Victoria.
For me, it's actually really lovely to hear both of your voices, and it's been a nice practice already this morning, but just your voices for me, because I haven't seen you since last summer, just gives me this wash of calm, and it feels really nice.
Oh, it's beautiful to see. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. It's Sue here. How exciting to see Heidi and Steve online. This is the best thing in the world. I'm here with my son and doing the practice from my kitchen. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much, Heidi and Stephen. It's been probably about 4 or 5 years since I took the SMART education with you. A teacher at Gulfstream Public School, and here with my partner Vicky. So it's so nice to see you. And thank you for offering this. And both of us have noticed that we're really tired, sleeping a lot, still feeling like really tired. So doing your practice this morning really was invigorating, and practicing the mindfulness with the movement was really invigorating.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that practice, the movement is really important. So that movement practice we have online, it's on our YouTube channel. It's a very unprofessional video, but fun. It was done when Steve and I were on the beach in Cape Cod. But I invite you to consciously, intentionally bring movement in, because we see that there's an immediate shift.
Going out in nature, walks. I'm sure a lot of you are doing that.
So, you know, we want to also address, you know, how people are feeling at this time, and this time of what could be looked as social distancing, which for some people can be isolating. Also, to really name the fact that, you know, there's a lot of fear and anxiety out there, and it's contagious, and it's real. I mean, these are really shocking. Shock and awe is what I'm feeling right now. These are shocking times, and things are happening very quickly. And what we've noticed is with mindfulness practice, you know, we all have a choice in what we're going to put our attention on, because energy flows where attention goes. So what we can do is at this time is we can have an opportunity of choose where we want to bring our attention. So it doesn't mean we're never going to listen to the news, but it could mean that you don't maybe have the news on 24/7. It could be, what else do you want to bring into your life? And I'd like to open this up for people that have found, what are some of the things that, you know, while you're at home have been really helpful to you? Because we're a community of people that have been introduced to mindfulness practice. What's working for you? Again.
I have something that's really working. I have my family is here with me in the house. You know, there's 4 of us all together, and it's just kind of cooking like these recipes that smell good, and they're simple. Like, and in doing it, it's good because I can do it mindfully myself, like as I do it. And I think of my mom. She passed a little while ago, and I kind of bring her in because I feel her there with me, so it's kind of cool. But I also feel the smells and that presence of just being normal, like, you know, someone's in the kitchen doing something. And usually I'm pretty busy and I'll come in and swoop in and, you know, start cooking, but this is a whole different thing. But I feel like it's helping me, and it's helping this. There's just something in the house, sort of like the baking or aroma that just permeates the house. The more mindfully I can do that and intentionally, I feel like it just sort of spreads, you know? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Show of hands, how many other people are noticing that they're cooking more?
Oh, yes, definitely. I never cooked. So this is a lot. A lot.
Yeah, look at it. And we were talking to Steve's son in Germany this morning. That's the other nice thing, is connecting with people. And I said to Steve, tell him you're getting good meals, you know, like, because it's the same thing, because usually we swoop in. So I'm also experimenting with different recipes and trying new things, and really enjoying having the time to do those kinds of things that nurture and take care of ourselves.
I had a neighbor say to me, I ordered paint by number for adults. So I ordered paint by number, and my daughter's staying with me. She's in a high-risk pregnancy. And last night, it was the best. Totally mindful of these little tiny different things that you have to do, and watching this. So I highly recommend it. It puts you right into that moment of creating this. Taking me back to my childhood also. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's Catherine here. We started doing 1,000-piece puzzle last night, which was fun. And so and then with my kids, everyone chooses music. So we have different playlists. Everyone's making playlists to do while we're doing the puzzle. So it's really fun. But one of the things I'm finding is helpful is when I do yoga or meditation is to do the online. There's a lot of online stuff that's recorded, but it's nice to connect in person like this with real people. So thank you.
Yeah, and that was our intention, because we've always done things in person, and I've also watched a lot of podcasts, and I find that my present moment attention often doesn't stay with a podcast when it's not interactive, and it takes somebody very special, and if you. On our website, we've created a list of resources, but Steve and I have been listening to Tara Brock. She has an amazing podcast out, and that's what we're going to be doing shortly, is we're going to do a little bit of this practice called RAIN. But I would say that the opportunity to connect with each other and hear from each other and feeling that you can actually talk about what your experience is incredibly valuable at this time.
Really important. Mm-hmm.
Naomi here. Hi, Heidi and Steve.
Hi.
I'm finding that this time is a terrific opportunity to practice being in the present moment, because we can feel sad about what we feel we've lost in the past, different freedoms and whatever. We can be anxious about the uncertain future. And we can find solidity and solace and ease in the present moment just by noticing that, hey, we're sitting here, our bums on the chair, we feel grounded, we're breathing, as we say, poo poo poo, we're well. And so I'm finding great solace in the present moment. And it's kind of really become real for me in a way that it wasn't when you're rushing around like a nut, trying to run here, run there, do this, do that. And the second thing that I'm finding is you can always look at something as a terrible experience or an opportunity. So I'm kind of looking at it as an opportunity to spend time doing things I wouldn't ordinarily have time to do. So I'm catching up on podcasts and things that I've wanted to listen to. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to do some culling in my house, getting rid of junk, and I'm appreciating the opportunity just to take some socially distanced walks when the sun is shining. So, we can always look at the present times as an opportunity. And I find that focusing on those rather than the uncertainties and the difficulties makes the experience easier.
And it's a really beautiful point that Naomi brought up, is that uncertainty is one of the major causes of stress and anxiety. And one of the ways for combating the worry about what's going to happen later is to be in the present moment and do what you can do now. So one step in front of the other. For many people, though, whose routines have been totally upset. Anybody feel that your normal routine has been totally like I don't know what to say, thrown out the window? And that can be a little disconcerting. So I feel that we're just in the beginning of trying to find new routines, but we can bring intentionality into those new routines so that we can choose the things that are going to work for us. And that's why I really want to have this forum where we can have an opportunity to share. I love that thing about the paint by number. I did that once, and it's very, very mindful. Or puzzles or, so it's also, mindfulness can also be creative. It doesn't have to just be sitting on the cushion or in what we think of traditional mindfulness practice. It's about bringing that mindful awareness into anything that we do. Cooking can be mindful, painting can be mindful, reading a book, knitting. I'm a very mindful knitter. Patting your cat, or Michael, he showed us his beautiful dog, or playing with your pet. So we have lots of opportunities where we can support being in the present moment. So, yes?
He's brought in his dog.
He brought in his dog. There he is. Now look, you see, now everybody can smile when they see that dog.
Junior's joined us.
Junior's very cute.
Heidi, I just wanted to add a comment, just piggybacking on Naomi. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Claire. My focus generally goes to language, and social distancing is a little misleading. I would say physical distancing, because socially, what an opportunity we're having here. I mean, I think the mindfulness moment is right now and here with everybody present. And if we look at it optimistically too, I know it's a moment of uncertainty, but the air is cleaner in this human pause, and the waters are getting cleaner. So it's a beautiful moment, I think, in the uncertainty and in a moment that there's a bit of stress. If we look at the benefits we're getting in this human pause, I think it's a miracle.
Can I add, I want to add to Naomi and Mary Claire as well. Yes, I wake up with anxiety and fear, and I'm really taking the opportunity to, I feel like I'm going into hibernation and really reflecting on what is important to me, and, how I want to come out of this. So for me, I'm going into deep reflection. I'm so, so grateful for that opportunity. Really am.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think this is an amazing opportunity for me personally, to work on projects that I had been putting off previously. I'd been using, quote unquote, busyness to avoid a lot of projects that I was fearful of, and now I can focus on them. And for me, my routine hasn't been upended all that much. I'm an only child. I live on my own, and probably prior to this, I would spend at least a third of a month, in solitude at my place, going through my routine and working. So this isn't all too foreign to me, but I do miss the physical contact. I miss hugging people and meeting people in person. I find that I get calmer and calmer as each day goes by, and I'm prepared to live like this for the next 18 months if it comes to that. Right. However, I have a lot of concerns about other people around the world and how they're coping. It's great that we're all here, but it's really only a small percentage of the human population that engages in habits which cultivate mindfulness. So I've seen a lot of people in my network, colleagues, friends, and whatnot, losing their composure online, and probably more so in private. So I'm hoping to create different products and services that will be able to empower them and many people around the world, just like Mindfulness Every Day does. Thank you for this.
Thank
you, Johnny. So we're probably not going to get to what we planned, which is normal. There were three things that Tara Brock mentioned this morning that I thought were really beautiful. And she was talking about that what's really important this time is connecting. And I think that we're all realizing that this calls on creative ways of connecting. And it may mean just picking up the phone. It also gives us time. I got an email from Sam Himmelstein, who teaches at the Center for Adolescent Studies, who I follow, who I've taken his courses. And he sent a free offering, and I actually had the time to type him an email and saying, hey, look, I have the time to actually thank you for what you're doing. And I think that also brings up, Johnny, is that so many of us, we are very aware of the level of suffering that is out there and the desire to help. So the first thing is connecting. The second thing is, what can we do to help? And being reasonable about it. There's that beautiful story about the starfish. And the little girl is on the beach, and there's all these starfish that have been washed up, and she's taking a starfish and she's throwing them back into the ocean one by one. And a businessman comes by and he says, you're never going to be able to throw them all back in. You're never going to be able to save everybody. And she said, yes, but I can save this one. And she throws that one in. So all of us can look at, you know, how can we help? I know that Steve and I and Mark, we put out a notice for our condo. We live in a condo with a lot of older people, and we put out a notice just saying if anybody needs help with groceries, we can go buy them for you. We'll leave them outside your door. If you need somebody to talk to, we can listen. If you know of anybody that needs some help, let us know, and we'll be available. So there's different ways where we can think about what can we offer. And I wanted to just take a moment to appreciate the mindfulness community who's been so incredibly generous. Like, so many people are coming up with things that they're offering, that they're giving away for free, that they're making available. And I think that that's engaging. That I would call that, like, how are we going to engage with one another where we're really truthfully acknowledging the situation and coming up with meaningful ways that we can help. And the other thing is to remember, Rick Hansen, take in the good. You know, in the midst of all of this craziness that's happening in the planet, as John Kabat-Zinn says, there's far more right with us than wrong with us. There's a lot of beauty out there, and there's a lot of things that we can just connect to that make us feel good. So again, it's what do you want to put your attention on? So we can always focus on that, which is
spring is here.
Spring is
The
here.
birds are singing.
Yeah, you know,
Beautiful.
I'm already thinking about planting my garden. Don't know if I'll get to go to a garden store or anything, but we're thinking about that.
Virtual garden.
Virtual garden. So the other question I want to have, I think at this point, we're not going to do the rain practice, but what I'm going to invite you to do is Tara Brock has a podcast. It's available on our website. You can, on our list of resources for COVID that's on our website, you can access hers. I want to invite everybody to listen to her last podcast, which is about the pandemic and handling fear. It is really, really beautiful. We've listened to it twice already. So I'm going to recommend that we just go there. And the one thing I wanted to ask everybody is, we would like to continue this as a regular basis, and we'd like to know, is there anything in particular that you would like to see as part of this hour that we could spend together? Like, what would be helpful? A couple of suggestions. If we actually have a registration process, then one way is I'd know who was coming on. We could maybe send you something short that you could look at before, and then maybe we would have an opportunity to discuss it. Or if people have things that they have found really work or are inspiring, maybe they'd like to share them, and just finding out how we could make this more of a community happening. So I'm open to ideas.
That's great.
Hi, my name is Anna.
Hi.
Angela Ventrice, actually, I've been working with her. I work with her at Emily Carr Secondary School, so she's kind of been getting me into this. So thanks, Ange. I was going to say, if we could do a weekly thing like this, I maybe, hi, Ange. How you were saying, in between, have something with ideas that we share or whatever, but a weekly check-in would be kind of nice, and like on Zoom.
Sure. I mean, we decided to do this Sunday just because, actually because because I was part of a spiritual group, and we used to actually gather on Sunday mornings, and it just felt like this was so normal for me to do this. But we could also get together at another time during the week. I know a lot of people do things at the night, and we thought we could start something in the morning, because that way you could start off your day with a meditation and a movement, and then we could open it up to something else. So we could do this. We can do this bi-weekly. You know, I mean, we can do this twice a week if people want. Yeah.
I think your Sunday morning idea is fantastic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I think this is great. I belong to some other communities who are doing a lot of things at night as well on Zoom. So really grateful for these communities that are promoting, you know, yoga and spiritual practice to help get us through these times. So there's a lot going on Zoom. And it's such a great venue to be able to meet like this. But the Sunday morning is fantastic.
Great.
Thank you. Well, we're going to keep it up.
And if there's any resources you have that want to send to us that you think our group would love, please send them. You know, like I'm just thinking of that poem that went viral that I'm sure most of you heard by this Irishman, just really putting what the situation is on the line and what we have. And, you know, so anyways, if you have resources, please. Good stories, you know, what's happening. There's so many wonderful stories happening out there at this time.
What poem are you talking about?
It's called Lockdown or something. Does anybody remember the title?
Angela, you sent that out on social media at some point. We can send it out again.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, it's an Irishman, an Irish priest. I'm happy to read it if you like. I'm not sure if people want it or not, but I can.
Yeah, that would be great.
He wrote this about a week ago, I guess, and it is called. Oh, he doesn't have a title actually, no. But it starts off by saying, just one second, technology here is loading. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through the neighborhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we really have, to what really matters, to love. So we pray and we remember that yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe, listen behind the factory noises of your panic. The birds are singing again, the sky is clearing, spring is coming, and we are all encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. That's it.
Beautiful. So let's just take a moment and close our eyes. And we can just have a few moments of silence. This doesn't have to be guided. And just noticing whatever is most present for you right now. So taking your own time. And you can just rub your hands together and create some energy and heat in your hands. You can feel that. And then just wash your face. And we have a few minutes left, and I'm just wondering if anybody has any closing words or any other inspiring things that they've come across in the past while that they'd like to share. Angie, we're going to post that on our website. I forgot about that poem, so if you send that to me, I'll post that as well. It really says it all. It's hard to come up with anything outside of that. Good news for those who are concerned about climate change is apparently the pollution levels are down. So
our son was saying last night that the photos from satellites are showing how much clearer everything is. So that it's global. And I think one of the things that we're learning is that it's not social distancing, as someone said, it's social connecting that we're doing. And we really are, and I was moved to go back to the song that was created for when the AIDS crisis hit Africa, "We Are the World." And that's who we are. We're all of us are together. We are all the world. And I think there's an enormous amount of unity that's happened in a way across borders and across a world. And I also think that one of the things that does bring us together is music. And so much of the entertainment community has put out free concerts. You know, Willie Nelson, Marty was saying that Steve, oh God, I'm going to forget his last name.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin put out he was playing the banjo in the woods, a solo. I mean, there are just John Legend in his kitchen. I mean, there's so many musical acts that are coming forward with a kind of creativity that, you know, that you feel like they're in your kitchen with you while you're cooking and baking at Angela's house. So it's really been a way that we are connecting with people that we don't know, that we've been fans of, and connecting with the people that we do know in different ways. It's really, I think it's been a very great rebirth of caring and kindness.
I just wanted to say a couple of housekeeping things. If you have things you want to suggest, either send them directly to Heidi at mindfulnesseveryday.org, or send it just to info@mindfulnesseveryday.org. And the other thing is that it would be, we had close to, we had 45 people here today. So we're going to do this every Sunday. So if we can, everybody should ask somebody that you know, that you think would enjoy this group and benefit from what we're doing here, to be here with us next Sunday. So we get forced to have to up the agreement we have with Zoom to accommodate so many more people than we even had today, which would be wonderful.
And also, I really would like, you know, as you know, Steve and I, we do a lot of work in education. We do a lot of work in community settings. You know, this was a week where everybody was off. And today you would be getting ready to go back to school tomorrow. I don't know if anybody knows exactly what is going on tomorrow, what is going to be going on for the next 2 weeks. It's like just this big uncertainty. So, so I would really like to see what happens next week as we look at, you know, because this week was a week off for many people. Next week isn't a week off for many people, and yet now it's going to be. So how is that going to play out with everybody? And so I think it would be really great for us to have this opportunity to check in with one another next week and see, you know, how it's going. And yeah. And the other thing I want to say is this is an amazing opportunity to reconnect with our values, our intentions to what's important. And, you know, I always wanted to, you know, how are we going to change the world? And we're going to do it through changing ourselves and through being the change that we want to be. So it's a great opportunity. And the other thing I want to say is that Steve and I are available. So feel free to call us or email us anytime, and we'd love to connect with you, because that's the beauty of this, is now we have time to connect with one another. So does anybody, I just want to express my extreme gratitude for this forum being created. It just feels amazing. And I really want to send my love and wishes for health and well-being for everybody that you're in your family, those that are near to you, those that are far away that maybe you're concerned about. You know, we don't all have the luxury of having our families in our cities, and there can be a lot of concern with that. So just, you know, just be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and lots of love to each one of you. And thank you for supporting us in our journey that we've had up till now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We will stay online for anybody that wants to talk to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you.
great day.
It's like lights, frogs in the basket.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See
Heidi.
you all next Sunday.
Okay, we'll see you
Sunday.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to next Sunday.
Thank you so much. I feel so much better. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi and Steve.
Goodness, it was great.
Take care for now.
Thank you. It's nice seeing you live, Ajani. I always enjoy your photos.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah,
We'll be online tomorrow with you. Sounds good.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bye, Johnny.
Bye.